Hello there everyone and welcome to another episode of Should You Pull for Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. Now this video has actually been built in conjunction with another video that I've released simultaneously, which is my Should You Awaken video for the same banners and the same characters that I'm talking about now. So this time around we're going to be talking about the first banners to come around with the level 70 awakenings, and those two banners are going to be Laguna, Saz and Keita, and then Warrior of Light, Shantotto and Ida. So if you're interested in learning more about the three different characters who got their EXs, reworks, all sorts of cool stuff, as well as the slightly less interesting characters that didn't get their EXs, then stay tuned and keep on watching. As always, I know I go on about it every time, but don't forget to check out all the social links in the description box below, including my Facebook, Twitter, Discord, Patreon, Twitch channel, which I shall leave the schedule for just on the right hand side if you want to come and watch me play Opera Omnia or anything else. I'm playing a lot of Final Fantasy 8 and 9 at the moment, so if you guys want to come and join in with that, that'd be awesome. Don't forget to check out DissidiaDB.com, as it's the primary resource I use for all of my Should You Anything videos. And of course, don't forget to check out all of the other Opera Omnia content creators out there, because every single one of us works very hard on our stuff, and we'd all appreciate you coming and giving us a view. I'm going to start off by talking about the three characters who don't have EXs on these banners. So that's going to be Ida, Keita and Saz all simultaneously. Quite honestly, I don't think I need to go into too much detail about any of these three characters because you're just not going to use them very often. Even though they've had their level 70 awakenings, Saz is okay at best. Like maybe if you're really desperate for a character that has some buffs on them, then maybe you could grab him. But honestly, we've got so many good support characters now. You've got Ishtola, Warrior of Light, Lena, Sarah, Freya. There's loads of really good ones. You don't need. You'd be very, very surprised if you needed Saz at this point. And then Ida and Keita are just very, very lackluster damage dealers that just don't do as much as nearly every other character in the game, even with a level 70 awakening. So honestly, these are not the characters that you want to be focusing on with this banner at all. So we're going to start by talking about Laguna, because he's going to be one of the characters that's on his own and has a new EX weapon. So we're going to start with him. He has had a slight rework on his stuff, so he gets some nice buffs and debuffs all at the same time. He gets a bit of overflow on his shotgun. He gets a Brave Attack Plus, which is useful. He gets an HP Attack Plus, but he requires his EX weapon to use that. But Laguna just does more of what he's always done, really, which is AoE debuffing, which is useful. It's not bad at all. Like he does, like when he has his weapon passives, he'll get, some attack down, some defense down. Like if you happen to have his World of Illusions weapon and Hellblow gun, then you'll get a party aura, which is nice. And I do discuss this in further detail with the Should You Awaken video, so I do encourage you to go and check that out. But he does actually get another aura in the Destruction Resonance, which is his Crystal Awakening level 68 passive. So you get some nice little auras with him. He isn't too bad. But obviously, the main thing that we want to be talking about when it comes to him is going to be his EX. Now, I won't lie to you guys, Laguna's EX weapon is possibly one of the most uninteresting EX weapons I've ever seen. It's not bad. That's not to say it's a bad weapon, but it's extremely boring. Basically, it's just an 8-hit Brave HP attack that can overflow 150% and grants him 6 turns of Manly Charm. Now, what Manly Charm does is it gives him an attack buff for every debuff your opponent has. So kind of like Edgar, which I know isn't the greatest start, but it's stronger than Edgar. But it just does more of what he already does. He gets more damage as long as your opponent is debuffed, which is going to happen pretty regularly if you're using Laguna, because both of his abilities inflict debuffs, so that's really nice. If you can get some frame debuffs along the way with like your Fran or anything like that, then that's going to be a nice little extra, or even Ramza, because I will find any excuse to put Ramza in the team, quite honestly. And then if you limit break it does more damage, it gets more recast rate, he gets an HP attack plus, which is a brave HP attack. I don't hate Laguna. I don't think he's bad. I just think he's extremely uninteresting, if I'm perfectly honest. I think that he doesn't really bring anything to the table apart from a decent recast rate on Ragnarok Buster, which is sad because I actually do already have the World of Illusions Hellblow gun, and yet I'm still not feeling inclined to pull for this weapon. So honestly, this is one that I think you can take it or leave it. If you're a big fan of Laguna, then yeah, go for it. But if you're not, you could happily just not worry about it. Now, Shantotto turned from a bit of a mean character, to be honest, into a devious little munchkin, quite honestly. She can do some damage now. So her rework has made it so that she gets she starts the fight with rage, which is great because one of the problems that she always had is that if she didn't have like rage bio and rage aero, she just wasn't really doing very much damage, and even then it wasn't that great. But now she deals like extra damage to everything because the potencies of her abilities have been awakened, and now it inflicts a framed debuff called Accursed Gaze, which is a sap and a defense down debuff that you get just by using pretty much any of her abilities. It's really like she'll always get it. As long as your opponents are using any kind of AoE attack, then you're going to end up refreshing your rage ticks, and it's shown on the screen now with a lovely little kind of icon of a raged Shantotto, which I really like because I actually really just love Shantotto as a character. And then obviously you want to get all of her gear in order to make the most of it because you get more poison out of her, you get the extra poison from various different abilities she has from the Accursed Gaze. She also has quite a nice level 70 passive, which again I talk about in greater length during my Should You Awaken video, and I think that it's nice, it's not amazing. The thing with Shantotto is that she looks incredible now because she's she's one of the first level 70s, and she got a rework and she's all brand new and shiny, but characters are you're gonna creep over Shantotto very quickly, so pull with caution. But that being said, let's have a quick look at her EX. Now, Divine Malison is actually a pretty good attack, mainly because of its fast recast rate, which means that she's got a really good amount of sustain, which is great. She's going to be able to last for a decent amount of time, but it also inflicts a frame debuff that imperils 4 different elements. The main thing that I like about Shantotto is actually not coming for a little while. It will come with her EX Plus, because once she gets Divine Malison Plus, she then gets she gets an enraged Divine Malison, which is really nice. And then not only that, but it also makes it so that it also imperils all of the elements that she didn't already imperil. So she imperils literally every element all at once. So I think that if you happen to pick up Shantotto, she'll do you really well for a little while. She'll get crept over pretty quickly. I'm looking at Noctis in a couple of weeks. But she's certainly not bad. She's definitely not the meme she used to be. This girl can pack a punch. She's actually really quite strong now. And then finally we get to talk about a character I've been so excited to use. Like, I pulled for Warrior of Light's EX weapon the first time around just so I could have it for when this period came around. And my god, actually I'm just gonna do, here we go, we're just having it much better. Warrior of Light went from being, yeah, he was alright, he wasn't very powerful, he didn't really do very much, he had his little shield mechanic and that was nice. He went from that into becoming arguably the best character in the game. He's got so much going for him now, it's not even funny, thanks to having a rework and a level 70 awakening. But what he does now is Shining Shield now affects your entire party and not just himself. So, or just one target rather. So you will always have these shields up because you get a lot of uses out of it as well, because you get 2 more uses out of it which you didn't have before. You basically just can throw out HP attacks and not care. Like, you don't give a damn what your opponent's doing because they're not going to be hitting you, they're going to be hitting your shields. And then you get a Brave Battery effect on top of it, which then gets, like, everybody gets, like, based on initial bravery. Then you get a Will of Light passive, framed buff, which raises attack and max bravery and brave regen to the party as well. And it has an HP attack after use. And now while the Will of Light buff is active, you get a brave attack and an HP attack plus, which are, well, they're just basic brave attack, HP attack pluses where, you know, you get multiple hits from brave attack plus, you'll get raised bravery before you do the HP attack and HP attack plus. But if everyone has their shield still up, they become plus, which is even stronger, and the HP attack can actually overflow, which is really cool. You then get, with Throw Buckler, a much bigger hit from it. It actually hurts now, pretty nastily. It's what gives him what Will of Light. Then you have 150% Brave Overflow. You've also got a Brave Battery effect off on it, and then it also gets an HP attack overuse. It's just insane. This is without even talking about his EX weapon, but his EX weapon is actually more integral to his kit than you might realise, even though the attack itself isn't as potent as it might look, and I'll explain why. So what is it about Warrior of Light's EX weapon that makes it really good, despite the fact that the attack itself is actually fairly lackluster. It's just a 2-hit attack that will have its potency based on how much shield value you have across your party members. So it's going to hit 9999 twice, pretty much every time. But that's still only 20,000 damage. It doesn't have any overflow. So why is it still really good? It gives him HP heal, which is nice. Like, if you fully limit broken it, it will give him a 20% HP heal, which is really good. But it grants him medium speed up for 5 turns. This is actually really important because Warrior of Light is not a fast character. So having him be able to keep up with everybody else is actually really relevant. And because you've got the shields all going off, you've got all of this stuff, like, all of your guys just can't get hit by bravery attacks. Your opponent's not gaining any bravery because they're walking into shields and not hitting your bravery and draining anything. Your opponent's just kind of stuck, floating. It's like, I mean, I pulled for Zac, don't get me wrong, I like Zac a lot more offensively focused than Warrior of Light is. Warrior of Light just does so much defensively now that he is an absolute dead cert for any content going forward for quite some time. And even when he gets his EX+, it just does simple things, but those simple things actually help him quite a lot. And we're actually not that far away from EX+ at this point. We're talking 2 or 3 months, maybe? Something like that. And then if you get the EX+, Shining Wave gets 150% max overflow, which it desperately needs. It gets 4 hits instead of 2, and raises its Brave to potency. And then it gets more Brave overflow limit when you once you've fully limit broken it, and then it's just a decent attack on its own. Warrior of Light is one of these characters that when I did my Future Pulls video, I didn't mention Warrior of Light for myself because I knew I already had him, but I pulled for him knowing he wasn't very good the first time around, just because of just how damn good this character is now. Honestly, if you don't believe me, go into any Atlas Raid co-op and you will see someone running Warrior of Light and see exactly what this character can do. In terms of future banners, Laguna actually doesn't have an EX+ weapon yet, and there's no sign of one as far as we can tell, so anytime that he might come back on a banner, he's just going to be stuck with his plain old EX, which, as I've already said, I find quite uninteresting. Shantato will be a little while yet, but she'll get an EX+, and as I said, she'll be really good. But the banner I want to focus on for the future is actually for Warrior of Light, and not for anybody else, because he'll come back with Garland. And this is when Warrior of Light will get his EX+, but not only that, but Garland is actually a fairly strong character as well. So if you're not particularly interested in Shantotto, or perhaps you already have Shantotto and don't want to risk pulling a dupe, because this is something that we all have to worry about now going forward, then maybe you might want to consider saving up for this banner instead. Though, honestly, Warrior of Light is just that strong that I would want him as soon as I could get him. That being said, there was mention of a free EX shop in the community stream for the next month or two, so maybe that's something that might be worth considering as well. Obviously, I already have Warrior of Light, but I'm actually considering picking up Shantotto in that free EX shop. I wouldn't say it was high on the priority list for everybody if she is on there, but I have most of the meta ones like Noctis and Cloud and Warrior of Light, so Shantotto might be a solid pick for that if you already have characters like that. As a matter of fact, I will probably release a video in the near future sort of ranking the protagonist's EX weapons, just in case this EX shop does come out in exactly the same way it does in JP, so that you guys know for when that comes out exactly what you might want to grab from that. So should you pull on the Awakening Batch 1 banners? In the case of Laguna's banner, I'm going to say no, because I don't think that Laguna is quite as strong as some level 60 characters that we've had recently, like Vayne or even Renoa, or people that we've had for a couple of months now. He's not bad, he isn't, like, there's nothing wrong with him. His kit's just very uninteresting, and he kind of does what Fran does, and we got Fran for basically nothing, and we're going to get Pain in a week's time, who basically does better than Laguna anyway. I wouldn't worry about this banner personally. The banner mates are terrible, like I said at the beginning of the video. And then the Shantotto Warrior of Light banner, yes, I definitely think this one is worth looking into for no other reason than Warrior of Light's EX. If you already have one or the other EX, I would tread carefully with this banner though, because you might end up getting dupes of one that you already have. I personally wouldn't pull on this banner for Shantotto alone. I think she's good, like she hits catastrophically high numbers right now, but as you'll see in a few weeks time, so will everybody else. So don't allow this early awakening glamour to take you into its spell, because there will be other characters that will do just as much, if not more than Shantotto very, very soon. Warrior of Light, however, is a complete monster, and I'm really happy about it because he's actually one of my favourite characters in the series. So to see him doing as well as he does, I do not regret pulling for him the first time round at all, and if you don't have him, then I would seriously consider either pulling for him now or waiting until the EX shop comes around where you can grab it then. So that's going to be it for this video. As I said earlier, don't forget to check out the Should You Awaken video that's come out alongside this video. So if you want to check that out, then obviously check that out in the links in the description box below. Let me know what you guys think of the banners. Are you going to be pulling for any of these characters? Are you going to be taking Keita through the Atlas raid? Are you going to be pulling for Laguna despite the fact that I've said that I don't particularly like him? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to check out all of my social media links in the description box below as always. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. Anyways, that's going to be it from me. Thanks very much, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!